Um, okay. Well, that is the end of Fear 2 Reborn. Here's my first thought on it. It was extremely short. Really short. I was kind of thinking it was going to be short, because Project Origin itself is not a long game, really. But Reborn was way shorter than I thought it was going to be. I'll tell you that much. Really, really, really short DLC campaign, whatever you want to call it. It came out 7 months after Fear 2 Project Origin, so people would have been interested in playing it. They would have been excited to play it. But this is something that you would finish in the same night. You would play it and start it and finish it the same night. It's not really something that you would be able to sit there and, have a good long gameplay out of for very long. It's real short. So I have to give it demerits for being short. The second demerit, and this one is a strong one for me, it was really difficult. It was way more difficult than Project Origin was. As you know, if you watched my Project Origin playthrough, I started that game on the easy difficulty and found it to be too easy. So I upped the difficulty early on in the game to the normal difficulty, and then that was fine. I had no problems with normal difficulty. I was even feeling in some of the places I could have gone to hard difficulty. Like, that was fine for me. That was a good experience, and I was fine with that experience. But then this one, I don't know what it was, but they just decided to throw everything at you and give you the hardest combat experience of a F.E.A.R game that I've ever experienced. It was the hardest combat, and it is from the get-go. You get dropped off in the mech suit, the powered armor, and from the get-go, it's just immediate. Like, you don't even get any instruction on, like, here's how to move, here's how to use your weapons. None of that. They just expect you know all of it at this point. So we're just going to throw the bad guys at you, and boy, do they do that immediately. And there's no story and no build-up. It's just immediate action. And then it just continues. The whole first hour of this game was just non-stop, literally, action. I liked the moment where they took your weapons away and you had to, like, melee somebody to get your weapons back. That was kind of cool and neat to see. But otherwise, it was just combat, and hard combat. There were several sections here that I died on the normal difficulty where I didn't die as much in Project Origin. And you saw it. I died several times. That pit here toward the end, going into the crater, that was difficult. But really, this last end scene with where you have to go find Paxton, that was so difficult on the normal. So I did bump it down to easy, as you saw. And it was, even on easy, it was difficult. Because I had to use all of my health packs, even on easy. I had to use all of my health packs. That was not an easy DLC. That was kind of tough. So, I guess my question is answered. Was this game going to be more story-driven and fear-driven, like, scary, or was it going to be more combat-driven? Absolutely, they went the combat direction with this DLC. And I felt that they also did that with Project Origin. They made it a little bit more combat than F.E.A.R 1. F.E.A.R 1 had a lot more of the scare in it, a lot more of the almost scares. This one wasn't so much. This Project Origin, let's talk about that one first. It was a little bit more combat. It had some scares, but it had more jump scares than anything. But it had a lot of combat. And then for the DLC here, Reborn, they just bumped that up to 11 on this one. They turned that knob up to 11 on the combat. And for me, it wasn't scary. There were no scares. There was a couple of Alma scares, but she only did that because she was trying to kill you. Paxton's otherworldly hallucinations were not scary. They were more like, come to me, I'm going to help you, I'm going to lead you through, follow this path kind of a thing. His scares weren't scary. There were only a couple of Alma scares that were scary. Not really scary, but just kind of more scary than Paxton's. So, like I said, I have never played the DLC Reborn, never did play it. This was my first time playing it. My first playthrough, it was a blind playthrough of it. And I don't think I missed much not playing it. This obviously came out way long time ago in September of 2009. I don't miss playing it. Like, I really lost to nothing. I will say this though, perhaps it was good to learn how Paxton is reborn, because I guess that will or does play into F.E.A.R 3. So perhaps that was the important part. Because I do know in F.E.A.R 3, you start out with that scene of him in the cell. That's with him kneeling in the cell. That's how you start the game out, right? And I know in F.E.A.R 3, it has a co-op option where you can play as like, have somebody play with you, a co-op option. So that's really fun. Obviously, they didn't have that in F.E.A.R 2, but F.E.A.R 3 is done by WB, I want to say. I'll look that up, but F.E.A.R 2, F.E.A.R 1 and F.E.A.R 2 and Reborn was done by Monolith Productions. So I understand there's a little bit of a change there with F.E.A.R 3. So this was, from the creators. Reborn was from the creators of the game. This is Monolith. This is from the creators of the game. And I guess they just wanted to start taking the game into more of a combat thing than a F.E.A.R thing, which I don't really like that direction, to be honest with you. I would have loved F.E.A.R to have stayed with more of the F.E.A.R theme. And it's there. I mean, it's not like it's gone, but it's not as much. And I guess that was the direction Monolith was headed down. Like, if Monolith had made a F.E.A.R 3 and not, I want to say it was WB, Warner Brothers, who did F.E.A.R 3. If Monolith had done it, would it have turned out a lot differently, is my thought, because of what I'm seeing from Reborn. But let's talk about the storyline, because that is what I'm here for. Basically, our character is being led by Paxton so that he can be reborn. He's going to be reborn inside of this character. But my question is, what again made us special? At the end, he says, my brother. I don't think he literally means we were his brother at all. I think it's just figuratively he's calling us that because he was going to inhabit that body and be inside that person. Or his spirit was going to be reborn that way into the world, right? Because he died in the first game. Remember, he died in F.E.A.R 1. So that's how I took that. Let me know if that's correct or not correct, but it was never answered why that character was special. I am guessing he just had psychic abilities, probably a high level of psychic ability, but then that's probably it. But, so if that's it, it's a little not special. Otherwise, yeah, why was that person special for Paxton? But I guess it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the end of the result is what matters. And Paxton is now reborn into the world. He died in F.E.A.R 1. He was not really in F.E.A.R 2 at all. So this is Monolith kind of bringing Paxton back. And I guess that's the little Easter egg, or not, I was going to say spoiler, not spoiler, but it's the Easter egg for not getting Paxton in F.E.A.R 2, because Paxton Fettel played no part in F.E.A.R 2 Project Origin at all. Wasn't in it, wasn't a part of it. We learned about the Harbinger Project. We tried to stop Alma. It was more about Alma and the Harbinger Project than anything. And we also learned about some of the other projects. There were the intel along the way where we learned about a lot of things. That was F.E.A.R 2, but Paxton was not mentioned. I think he might have been mentioned, but he was not shown or seen or anything in F.E.A.R 2, Project Origin. So this was Monolith saying, hey, we haven't forgot about Paxton. We have a story for Paxton. We're going to bring him back. And we did that with Reborn. He is now reborn back into the world through this other character. And now Paxton is back. And I'm guessing Paxton will retain his otherworldly supernatural powers, probably, in that body. Or maybe not, I don't know. And will he have, I guess, telesthetic powers, psychic powers through that person also. So that could be interesting, and I guess that will lead into F.E.A.R 3. What this really gears me up for is I'm more excited to play F.E.A.R 3 now, because I kind of remember many scenes of F.E.A.R 3. There's an airport section that I just love in F.E.A.R 3. So I remember some of those things, but it's the storyline, and I know it's about Alma giving birth. I kind of remember all that, but I think I would be able to pay. That was a long time ago when F.E.A.R 3 came out, so I think Reborn just gets me more excited for playing F.E.A.R 3 is what it really does. And I will play that next year. So stay tuned on this channel. Subscribe if you want to see that. But next October 2025, F.E.A.R 3, I'm playing it. on here, and I am really, really looking forward to that. So yeah, this was my first time playing Reborn. The graphics were the same graphics engine, didn't see any change or difference. This came out 7 months after Project Origin, but I didn't see any evolution or change of graphics, so that's a little disappointing. Game mechanics, I saw nothing different about the game mechanics. We had a powered armor, which we had in Project Origin. We did get to, like, activate a satellite, and normally you wouldn't have too many things you'd have to activate in the F.E.A.R games, but except, like, you know, elevators and stuff like that. So that was interesting, but that just led into the whole thing with Paxton and being taken over and, I guess, influenced by him. There wasn't really anything. There was no intel. Did you notice that? There were no intel documents or anything to pick up and read along the way. Nothing at all. We didn't learn about anything in Reborn. It's literally this character just being led down a path by Paxton to the very, very end. That's it. No intel, nothing like that. No new game mechanics. No new weapons either. I found that interesting. I thought this would have been the perfect time for Monolith to throw in a new weapon type. A new weapon, right? This would have been the perfect time, and usually you see that in DLCs. Usually you see in a DLC, you get a new weapon type that's like shown off and like, ooh, look what we can do. Nothing like that. All the weapons were the same. All of them were the same. I'm glad I found that laser rifle eventually though, because without that laser rifle, would not have been able to take out that powered armor guy. What else? Yeah, there really wasn't anything new here. There was no evolution of the game. I guess that's my big takeaway. Reborn was not an evolution of the game at all. Game mechanics, I should say. I don't mean storyline. It obviously evolved the storyline. I mean the game mechanics. No evolution of game mechanics or game graphics in Reborn. And I guess that's the end of the Monolith produced F.E.A.Rs. That's the end of those. So that's interesting to me. That's real interesting. Because I do remember loving F.E.A.R 3, that I really liked F.E.A.R 3. So anyway, alright, I'm rambling at this point. That, I think, is going to end all of my F.E.A.R playthroughs for this year, October of 2024. I did F.E.A.R 2 Project Origin. I did F.E.A.R 2 Reborn DLCs. Something else I will mention, because I did see this also mentioned in the comments. Some people enjoyed the 2 expansions or DLCs from F.E.A.R 1, Extraction Point and Perseus Mandate. A lot of people really enjoyed those more. I have to kind of agree. I think I really did like Extraction Point, and I think I forget which one it was. One of them was just like all combat, and the other one had more story elements to it. So one of them I didn't like as much as the other. But I saw an evolution in those DLCs over F.E.A.R 1 that I did not see in Reborn over F.E.A.R 2. So, it was a different studio. It was Vivendi who did Extraction Point and Perseus Mandate. It was Vivendi. I think they did a great job with those expansions. I really, really did. Those 2 DLCs, I think Vivendi did a great job with it. I am not so sure that Monolith did a great job with Reborn. I think Vivendi did a better job with Extraction Point and Perseus Mandate than Monolith did with Reborn. That's my honest opinion there. However, I like the storyline of Reborn because I like this idea of Paxton coming back. That's great, and a great addition to the overall arcing storyline. But from a game mechanics standpoint, Vivendi did better than Monolith in that. And this is Monolith's own game. Own game IP here, so I just found that interesting. That's just my hot take on it. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. I look forward to your comments as well. But yeah, that's going to wrap up my very short playthrough of the DLC of F.E.A.R 2 Reborn. And that concludes it. I hope everybody has enjoyed this year's F.E.A.R Fest with me. F.E.A.R-tober. It's been a lot of fun, and hopefully some scares. Hopefully you got a little bit scared in there. I had some jump scares throughout this entire run of Project Origin and this DLC, so that was fun for me, and I enjoyed that. And I look forward to doing this again next October. Should be a lot of fun, so be sure to stick around. Give this video a like if you like it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this content. I will definitely do a lot more gameplay coming up over this year, rest of 2024 and into 2025. It's going to be great. So stick around, and I look forward to reading all of your comments. Thank you so much for watching and spending your time with me. I hope you all have a very blessed day. Thank you so much, and stay tuned for the next one.